The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2024 summer edition of The Local Show. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. The Local Show features conversations about local businesses. We talk to the business owners, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations. We learn how they got into business and why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, and where their businesses might be going in the future. You're going to hear all about their successes, their challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. And of course, you can see us on YouTube and see all the fun and frivolity that happens behind the scenes. Actually, it's during the scenes. It's kind of in front of the scenes. It's all on these cameras. I think there's 6 of them in here.
If you say so, Tom.
Yeah.
Did that with a lot of passion. Very excited.
Yes, it's whatever.
The heat hasn't sucked the life out of you?
Yeah, it's been a hot one, but I like the heat. In fact, I'm the only one at the gym that wears a schmuck when I work out. And that, somebody asked me the other day, they said, "Aren't you hot in that?" And I said, "Absolutely." And they said, why don't you just wear a t-shirt? I said, because I am so hideously ugly that you would vomit looking at me.
Did anybody put up an argument?
And no. Okay. And they were like...
Just checking.
But this one older lady looked at me like, oh my gosh, he's sick. He said he's a nutcase. And I said, yeah, so...
Yeah, and you're what, 50 pounds less than you were a year ago, Tom?
Yeah, but
so
still.
Credit where credit is due.
I know. It's just, I feel like if you're going to take your shirt off, you better look like Adonis in there.
Yeah.
Other than that, cover yourself up. No. Hey, look, we got a great show for you, Steve, and I do this for you. Rachel Williams is up first. She's the safety specialist and technician at Pestmaster Services. And then we have Charlie Van Patten. He's the owner of Mattress Makers. Randy King stops by. He's a member of the country club and runs the whole thing over there. Director of Drumlins Country Club. Jacob Eichten is the general manager of Rubberstone. Dean Lyon stops by. I think we interviewed him maybe not last year, the year before. Founder of Animate Boot Camp. And then Neil Carr will stop by. He's the vice president of Prime Heating and Air. Christina Kohler is part of Onondaga Grown and an egg processing manager at Hudson Egg Farms LLC. Jeremy Kidd wraps us up, financial advisor, registered principal at Pinnacle Investments. So that's all on the Local Show today. Good morning, Rachel. How are you?
I'm very well. Good morning, guys. How was your week?
Oh, it was all right. A little warm. Yeah, a little warm. And you know what? You got to be out there in the warmth all week long.
Yeah, we're out there with long sleeves and we're spraying houses and climbing on roofs and doing all that stuff.
Rachel, what is your background? What did you do before you joined Jerome at Pestmaster?
So I was in charge of food safety compliance, the regulatory end for food processors. So when you go in and you have food safety, how you set up those programs, how you manage them, I was the person to put those together and monitor those and help them get set up with certification. So
sounds like you had to be educated.
Yeah. Did they do those things because they wanted to, or because the health department was going to close them down if they didn't?
So it's a combination of both, right? So there is health department inspections, which are mandatory, and then there are third-party audits that companies can choose to get. So they'll bring in a third-party person to come in and look at our program and validate that, yes, we are safe, we're compliant. They'll give us certification. This enables companies to be able to do business with some of the big boys like Woodgoods.
Was the attraction to rodents the bridge to work for Pestmasters from some of the restaurants you inspected?
So actually, integrated pest management is a huge portion of a food safety program, right? Because you're trying to keep food safe, right? Mm-hmm. And you're trying to keep pests out of there. And, rodents and stuff, they carry diseases. The more I got involved in the IPM portion of food safety, I fell in love with it. I absolutely fell in love with it. And then I made a decision that I wanted to go full time. I did some side work where I would work with some pest control companies and kind of get them set up with, food safety. infusing that in their program. So when they go into commercial accounts, the idea was technicians already had food safety training. So they were a drop and go. They understood that there's certain standards and regulatory requirements that they have to maintain while they're in these buildings. So then I decided I wanted to make the transition to go full time. So obviously I looked at a bunch of different companies, and I ended up settling with Pestmaster for multiple reasons.
Was Jerome one of them?
Jerome was one of them. The team that he has over there is phenomenal. I was really attracted to the continuous education. That's a mandatory requirement. So every technician is expected, and and they want to. They're excited about it. They want to do a good job. We have a really good team.
But you're expected to have continuing ed. That's what you're saying.
Yes. We're constantly, once a week, we have little courses on different types of applications and management. We're also encouraged to add to our categories. That's what I really liked about it. I really liked the culture over there. Everybody they want to do a good job. They really care about quality. They really care about doing a good job for the customers. And in this field, surprisingly, there isn't many female technicians. And what I really, really liked about Pestmaster, especially Jerome's team, is there are other technicians that are female. And we have Anna over there. She's a certified applicator. I'm a certified technician, and I have my nuisance and wildlife management license.
What does that mean?
So for the nuisance and wildlife management, when they have squirrels or raccoons and stuff they want removed from the property, we'll come over, we'll set up traps, we'll remove them from the property, we'll do some exclusion work, we'll seal up the holes.
And that's different than ants and stink bugs?
Completely different.
Are mice wildlife?
No, they're
they're a nuisance.
They're considered rodent control.
Okay.
More of your nuisance and wildlife is going to be like your birds and your raccoons and your skunks and your possums, stuff that people don't want in there.
You guys did a wonderful job for me at the house. I had some birds. I think they were probably starlings that were nesting inside my new oven hood. And one of the things that Jerome told me was that they carry diseases.
Oh, yes.
So, aside from just being loud and obnoxious inside there, I didn't really think about it that I could get sick off of it. But, there's mites and things that
So when we go in and we remove, and this is what makes us very unique from everybody else in New York, is we don't just do the pest management. We also do wildlife nuisance control, but we also understand the sanitation and exclusion work part of it. So we're a one-stop shop.
So are the bees getting buzzy?
The bees are getting buzzy. We actually, there's a difference between bees and wasps and hornets.
Right.
So we don't harm honeybees. We don't harm bees. We don't harm the pollinators. We've seen a lot of uptick in the ants, so we're getting a lot of ant calls.
Right.
It's a good time here. I mean, we're doing like 14-hour days.
Wow.
We love it. Business is good. We, are so appreciative to all our customers. They're great. They're very loyal. Because it's very important for us to always do a good job, quality, customer service.
Well, people if you just look at the reviews.
Yeah. Really quickly, if somebody finds a hurt squirrel or other type of rodent on their property, is it good to pick them up and put them in boxes or touch them or anything?
Absolutely not. You never want to touch or go near a wild animal. Always, DEC has a site where they list technicians, but I would say call us.
Call you.
We're going to be there right away. We're going to take care of it. We're going to look around the property. We're going to look at the home. We're going to make sure you guys are safe.
So bees, bugs, mice,
we do
squirrels.
everything.
I know you guys have helped Mom with the woodchucks that she seems to keep attracting. Pestmaster.com. Phone number is 598-4046, and they can ask a question, get a quote, or whatever it is there if they have anything. The 315 area code, Tom, 598-4046.
Thank you so much, Rachel, and you have a great rest of the day, okay?
Yeah, thanks, guys.
You got it. Charlie Van Patten's up next. He's the owner of Mattress Makers right here in Syracuse, and he'll be on the local show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
You found it. It is the place to be on the weekends. It's cool and calm and collected, and that's just my part of the show.
It's not the last bastion of radio free Europe or whatever the heck you
know, I never made that up. That's not me.
Oh, you stole that from someone else?
That. Yeah, that was Rush Limbaugh.
Was it really?
Rush used to say that.
I feel better already.
And because I thought about it, I was, playing around with the show the other week, and you were commenting on me saying that, and I thought to myself, I know I didn't make that up. Where did I get that from? And I, back in the old days of Rush, he used to say that.
I did not.
He had a lot of Rushisms.
Yeah, he had a lot of Rushisms, right. And I remember,
he was quite a guy.
And I think one day I just didn't know what to say, and I spit that out, and then it just kind of stuck. and I kept saying
but it is funny.
It's pretty funny, yes. And so are you, Steve. Yeah. So thank you.
Did your yard burn out from the sun, Tom?
The lawn is looking pretty. There's a lot of brown patches, even though I get it treated and all that. What I'm noticing is the migratory birds. It just
migrate in your yard.
I have all these feeders up, and we were getting a ton of birds, and now all of a sudden, with just a little shift in the weather, we're not getting as many birds. And I thought, geez, I didn't change the feed.
Were they
I didn't
passing
do anything.
through, or
who knows? I don't know. We get the little birds, but we have a family of cardinals.
Well, you're in a gated community. Maybe they don't let the birds in up there.
They have to pay a fee to come to my neighborhood.
At your neighborhood, because there's only certain people are allowed.
Speaking of good people, we've got Charlie Van Patten back on the show. He's the owner of Mattress Makers. How are you, Charlie?
Very good, gentlemen.
It's good to see you again. And I know Charlie has a mattress store, folks, for those of you keeping up with things, where they actually make the mattress. It's a full factory. They're the only factory in Syracuse that is building mattresses from the thread on down. I think the only thing you don't do is put it on the loom and actually make the fabric, right?
That's right.
They actually share the sheep. I've seen that out back.
We do share the sheep.
Yeah. Nice. What do you got going on this time of year?
Well, it's a quiet time of year right now. Things are getting ready for vacations and everything. We're through the Memorial Day deal, and
right.
The Memorial Day, which should be renamed Mattress Sale Day.
Yeah, really.
Speaking of which, mattress advertising is terrible. I mean,
yours or others?
I mentioned that.
I think yours is pretty good. I don't know.
Yes, exactly. Straightforward. Keep it simple. But I mean, I mentioned in the past, like companies raise their price so they can run a sale. Mm-hmm. They got a 25-year warranty that's 3 years. The latest one, which is an oldie but goodie, it's if you buy this mattress today, you can rest assured that within 30 days, if it's advertised someplace else for less, we will give you the money back. What a joke. Yeah, you know what? That's been going on since I've been in the business. Here's the deal. Sealy, Serta, Simmons, Stearns & Foster, they will not put the same mattress to two dealers in the same market. We used to joke that Sealy had 47 labels for one mattress.
Oh, golly.
I mean,
so if you find the same mattress at the same price, we'll match the price, you give a rebate or whatever it is. That's not going to happen.
And
it doesn't exist. Okay.
And over the years, I've had customers actually come and tell me they've realized that they've tried to shop and find a better price.
Because it would have to be apples to apples. Is that it?
Exactly.
Okay.
They'll change the cover. They'll change the label. Same mattress, but you cannot.
Years ago, people would, resellers, mattress companies would buy your apples, would buy your mattresses made in Syracuse, mark them up 200 or 300% or whatever's and sell them. And then here, several years back, you went to buy direct from the factory and actually save that margin. Is that a fair?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
So, I mean, here's the deal. You come to the Mattress Makers, we keep it simple. We have style. We have feel. We have quality. We have selection. We have price. And we have exclusivity. I've mentioned before that we have mattresses you can't buy anywhere else in Syracuse. Matter of fact, one of our mattresses you can buy and you can sleep like the Queen and King of England, because there's a company in England called Spinks and Edgar's. It's a mattress company, it's like 200 years old, and they are the royal manufacturer of mattresses. And we make the same mattress. We've got one with over 5,000 coils in it. Identical.
Do I need 5,000 coils? That seems like a lot of coils, Tom.
King or a queen, sure.
Well, we're getting involved in what we call microcoils, because what it is, it's a small coil. And, there's a factory direct in Texas. They say less is more. And that's true, because you see these thick mattresses with all sorts of padding on them. You're just going to sink in. So either keep it simple and high quality, good padding where it's not going to sink, or you can use these micro coils, which are like 1 inch thick. And, you know, coils don't give out. When a mattress is shot, your coils are probably still good as the day you bought it, but all the padding is collapsed, and that's why you got to get a new mattress.
So Tom, you probably don't know this, Tom, but we had to get some mattresses here in the last couple of weeks. So, things are moved around in the one bedroom because there's no kids at home. It's becoming a guest room, and we got this other bed, so we had to get a mattress from Charlie. And I like the way Judy said it. She goes, I trust Charlie. She goes, give him something for him, and it wasn't because we trust Charlie. We didn't, we knew we were going to get taken care of. So we got it, and she is, by the way, Charlie, she is thrilled with both mattresses. I'll talk about the second one in a second, but she's real happy. She goes, go lay on that. This is a couple of, go lay on that bed. Go. Where's like around? She goes, go lay on that bed. I'm like, yes, dear. And
whatever you say.
And she was right.
Yeah,
it's fabulous. And the team came out and set it up and took the old mattress away. And then we had another one up at camp. We needed a mattress.
Right.
Little different situation, but we needed a mattress up there, and they brought it up there and put it in, and she was thrilled. She goes, I should. She didn't say write endorsement. I should give a testimonial. I think that was her term. So I think she just did. So real happy with the service and everything. And one other quick question. You said another mattress direct somewhere in the country. So there's other people that are kind of like yours. You make them and sell them direct.
Absolutely.
There's a few.
Yes.
Where's the nearest one to here?
Jamestown, New York.
Okay. So yes. Similar whether you walk in and you see the factory and the whole deal else. There? Okay.
Yeah. Just a little history on factory directs. In 1972, the government decided that they didn't want people falling to sleep in bed with a cigarette and getting burned and killed.
It was Nixon. Okay, go ahead.
So in 1972, we had to put 36 cigarettes on the mattress and some between sheets, particularly. So what we did,
it was easy to find cigarettes in those days.
Yeah. Every city had a mattress factory. But when that flammability came out in 1972, there were so many older factories, older people, they just couldn't deal with it. We lost 600 factory direct mattresses in 1972.
Wow. Because they couldn't pass the burn test.
They could pass it, but they didn't want to deal with it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I was out in my garage lighting cigarettes all day long,
Golly.
You should stop smoking, Charlie. You're not getting any younger.
And what the industry did is they shifted from cotton to foam because foam is mostly air. And I made this mistake one day of getting a real tight cover where I compressed the foam, and actually I put the cigarette on, and guess what? It caught fire.
Yeah.
So that went out of the garage and got put out. But I took all the pictures and did all the stuff, and I was good to go.
Yeah. Do people believe that you make them, or do they feel like, all the mattress places are the same?
Well, once they come in, they have no choice because you're here.
Right.
You see the factory, you have no choice. But yeah, I imagine there's people skeptical, number one, of the fact that we're local and we're making them. And number two, that, if I buy that national brand, I got security, No way. No way. I've been there, done that. I've been that person. I've been the national manufacturer, and I know what I sold.
Yeah.
So behind Henry Wilson Jewelers on Bridge Street.
Absolutely.
Across from our friends at Fleet Feet. And then the factory direct, which really is factory direct, across from Chick-fil-A, because they're made up the road on Bridge Street. But Mattress Makers. And thanks for coming, Charlie.
Well, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
You have a great rest of the day, Charlie, okay?
You too.
All right, Randy King's coming up next. He's the new director at Drumlins Country Club, and we'll see what his opinion is of Steve and when Steve goes over there to golf. All right, keep it right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it and back at it. You've got The Local Show right here on your radio or your mobile device and whatever else you're listening to. It's all good, and Steve and I are here to bring you all the fun stuff. Have you looked at many of the new AI tools?
No.
Yeah,
I did a little bit.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine sent a song, a local business owner sent a song that it was a country song made by AI.
Yeah.
It was hysterical.
It's hysterical, yeah.
It's hysterical.
Really interesting things. These AI-generated girlfriends now. And boyfriends, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And it was funny. I saw one, and this beautiful little girl, folks, let me walk that back. It's not little girl. It was a woman. And she was holding on to something. She was like on a boat background, and her hand looked like this thing out of some horror movie. It had like 4 fingers and sticks, and they were like, well, it hasn't quite reached, excellence yet.
Yeah, are you bitter that AI is going to put voice professionals out of business?
No, I'm bitter about everything.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Put it on the list.
Yeah, it's just, right now it's not quite there, but I guess at some point, I think it'll take all the low-end stuff. AI will take care of low-end things until it does.
Convince yourself of that.
Yeah. it could do better.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to take the place of planning for your future, though, in terms of trusts and wills and things like that. So
yeah, Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts.
Safe Harbor will be around.
If you haven't called them, call them 370-9977.
Yeah.
SafeHarborWillsandTrust.com. Get off your butt, make a plan. Your family will thank you, and they're really good people.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Hey, Randy King's back with us. He's the director of Drumlins Country Club. He has breathed new life into the place. How are you there, Randy?
I'm doing good. I'm very happy to be back with you two guys.
Is your title actually King?
Yeah.
I am. A lot of the members do call me the King over there. My office is on the 2nd level, so I have a little patio that I can stand out and oversee everything.
That's creepy.
So it certainly, it feels like king of the castle, but at the same time, I'm putting my place over there by a lot of people as well.
Wonderful.
Tom, we played
place.
golf. I played golf out there.
Yes.
A week ago Friday, John Copperman, owner of Smith Restaurants, we went over. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
The course is in great shape.
Fantastic shape.
Better than my game.
Fantastic shape.
So we're about 5-6 holes in. The rain. Yes. So we go back in. We're like, grab some lunch. I think that was better than the golf, and the golf was great.
Pete and Dave and the guys on the crew are doing a wonderful job over there. Weather has been very nice and cooperating with us, except for this past week with the 90s and hot. Right. But it's still maintaining, and the restaurant, Joe Sidoni, Michael Merritt, the supervisor over there, they're rocking and rolling. Right. We're open 7 days a week now. Q Scoops, the ice cream shop, is now open for summer. Which we're getting an influx from the pool.
Wow.
It's just, we're as usual, we're rocking and rolling over there. And we look for like a slow day and a day to take it easy. Yeah. And they do not happen.
It's just not happening.
Mondays and Tuesdays, we're like, this should be a light day.
Yeah.
Next thing we know, we get hit pretty hard, but we're handling it. Yeah. So we're all enjoying it. Some people are looking forward to winter already. And it's not even July yet.
Tell me about the facelift. What has been done since maybe this past winter?
Yeah, so we did the banquet upgrades, which we've talked about, but right now we're actually starting to push and promote the Drumlins Deck Days. So we did a little investing up top in the university room, which has the attached deck to it, which oversees the entire property. You get a good view of the pool, the golf course, and everything in between. So we added some nice, comfortable seating. We got an outdoor bar up there, and we're starting to implement some DJs.
Yes.
So this actually, next Saturday, the 29th, we're doing a Drumlins Deck Days where we have DJ Rayner coming into play from 4 to 8. We have our frozen margaritas and strawberry daiquiris and all that kind of good stuff to offer everybody.
So you don't have to be a country club member to do these things. This is a really cool restaurant.
Yeah, so it's very unique in that aspect. A lot of country clubs are members only, and I've been pushing this since I started. We are not a country club. We are a community club. We're right in the heart of Syracuse and DeWitt. There, we're smack dab right in the middle of a neighborhood, and we get a lot of neighborhood support.
Well, your golf course feels like a country club.
It does. The course,
seriously.
the condition it's in, absolutely, and we're actually putting some time and effort into the West course as well. So both courses are going to be up to par. They really are. So we're excited. It's growing every day. It's crazy. We're up to 385 golf members right now.
Wow.
We're teetering on the line of starting a wait list, which is something I never would have thought it would happen.
And then as far as of other recreational activities, the pool and tennis and things like that. Now, what do you have to be a member to?
Yeah, it's membership only. Yeah. The pool is we're pretty close to holding off on that as well. But we're still accepting membership right now up until, the next couple weeks here.
That's a big pool.
It's a big pool.
As pools come.
It's big. There's a lot of space over there. We did some upgrades. We added some more seating and tables over there because of, we are looking to get past membership. Last year we had 115. Right now we're at 120. So yeah, everything's growing over there. And again, it's based on, we're a community club. We're open to the public. You don't have to be a member to have a banquet or a wedding or anything like that. We are a yes company.
Tell us about the banquets and weddings.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear about. Can people still book for maybe 2024?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're still looking. We still have a few select Mondays and Wednesdays for golf tournaments. We are coming into wedding season right now, and we do have some really nice weddings that are coming up. You can certainly get on our website and check out available dates through Laura Massa, who is our banquets manager. She handles all that. She does a lovely job. And yeah, we're always accepting anything. So we have a new banquet menu coming out in July. So that's upgraded with our new pricing, and we revamped everything. So with the revamping of the banquet hall, we kind of said, let's take a look and revamp the menu as well.
How big of a party can you handle?
400.
That's a big party.
400. We could probably even get to 450. It would be a little tight, but 400 comfortably.
Well, there's some places downtown that remain, I'm not going to say, but that, it's kind of a pain in the butt with the parking and everything like that. And you don't have that up.
No, that's one of our biggest assets is it's free parking, and we have over 600 parking spots. Yeah, so that's on any given day. It's massive. Nice. It goes all the way from the driving range all the way back to the tennis courts.
Don't park too close to the driving range.
No, you don't. You want to stay away from there. I've seen some of those swings over there. You certainly don't want to be, from members included. Even myself at some times, I'm like, oh, that was a good one, right?
And one of the other benefits you have is you're a one-stop shop. So if you had your wedding reception there, you could have your big wedding reception day stuff. You can have your rehearsal dinner there. Yeah. You could even have, you could
have a cocktail. So that's why we put a little money into the deck, is that now that's a prime spot to have, a cocktail hour. Yeah, reception up there.
And if the weather's a little dicey, shoot inside.
And there's also a tent outside. So we cut the tent down. We cut it in half. Before it was covering the entire deck. Right. Now it's only covering half of it, because we wanted outdoor seating and people to be able to sit and enjoy the sun while we got it. Yeah, right? So, it's a one-stop shop. It really is. Excellent. And that's one of the benefits of Drumlins. We're thriving.
I was just thrilled with the course. I'm a golfer, and to me too. I was just like, wow. And
they take passion in it. They really do.
Don't go long on the holes, because if you go long,
it's rolling off.
You're gone.
Yeah, the greens are quick. The fairway's a little thick. It feels like a real golf course.
Correct. When Steve,
if you make a mistake, you're paying for it.
Yeah. When Steve left the last time, you could actually hear the applause all the way over by the old shopping town.
Thank God he's out of here.
Yay! There goes that guy.
I love it.
Randy King, thank you so much for what you're doing over there. Director of Drumlins Country Club. Hey, coming up next, we're going to talk with Jacob Eichten. He is the general manager of Rubberstone, New York. Stick around right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Oh, the beauty of summer is all around us, and the heat and everything else.
Bring it on. I'm good.
Oh no, it's all good. I'm waiting for the government to come up with some sort of a tragedy like the smoke from Canada. It's a plot. Yeah. Remember that? Everything was going fine, and then all of a sudden we had smoke.
But it's weather. Weather changes.
Goodness. Yeah, right.
So of course, when it's really warm, who do you hear from? People that think that it was you driving your truck that made that did it.
Or the cows passing gas.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
All that
make a law. Cows can't pass gas.
Where are the fires this year up there in Canada?
Oh, there's still time. There's still time.
Is there still time?
It's early.
Good. I actually like the smell, so it was kind of fun.
You like the smell of smoke?
I do.
Are you a campfire guy?
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even around my neighborhood, a lot of people light those fires up, at night.
Do you have a?
I have a metal one. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What do they call it?
Yeah,
that thing.
A fire pit. Yeah. We drag that out and we'll do the s'mores and.
We do that
like
at camp.
Yeah.
We got some cheap marshmallows. They just kind of like
marshmallows.
Well, here's the deal. It would puff up, and he didn't do that.
Yeah.
It just like sagged and drooped.
Oh gosh. Maybe they were like 50% latex.
Yeah, there's something wrong with them. And then you get them brown enough.
Plant-based marshmallows.
And they burn. But so quick note.
Yes.
If you know somebody that's an industrial maintenance mechanic, I was talking to Nicole up at Pepsi up at Clinton's Ditch.
Yep.
There's a great opportunity. If you're the guy or gal that can fix everything that I break, Tom, the machines and stuff. Yeah. Great job. It's at thepepsiplace.com. Take a look at it. Maybe you're not loving who you're working for. You're going to get paid great. And these are just great people.
What's the website again?
ThePepsiPlace.com, Clinton's Ditch.
I just wrote that down. I'll check into that.
There you go. Yeah. Hey. And you are that guy, too. You can fix it.
Yeah, really. A little bit of everything. All right. Jacob Eichten is here. He's the general manager at Rubberstone. How are you, Jacob?
I'm doing great. Staying cool as much as I can. How about you guys?
Very good, my friend. Hey, give people a little background so they have a reference of where you came from, and then we can talk about what you do specifically over at the Rubberstone.
Yeah, sure. Well, I've been in Syracuse since I did my undergraduate here. Decided it was the right place to stick around and hang out.
Where were you before here?
I grew up in Massachusetts. I was born here, grew up in Massachusetts, came back. My dad always said the sky was at the right height. I tend to agree with him. He's from the Midwest. So,
interesting.
Nice halfway over here.
What was your undergrad in?
I did sociology.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. So I got a sense of the lay of the land. And I thought this was a nice place to go, and there's plenty of concrete to take care of. So that's what got me here now.
Yeah, nice. And then how long have you been with Rubberstone all told, so far?
Sure. So started with them doing installs in 2020, did a season of that, so I got my hands pretty dirty, but they noticed that I was probably better behind a telephone than I was in the field. So that's what led me.
Does that mean you were bad in the field or just better? What does that exactly mean?
A little clumsy. How's that?
Okay. I can't relate to that, Tom.
No. Yeah, you and Steve, two peas in a pod, huh? All right. So you're the general manager now, which means that do you go out and do, what do you call those, estimates, or are you mainly in the building? What are you doing?
Sure. Try to stay in the building, but I do have a little bit of everything. When you're running a small neighborhood business, you do have to wear a lot of hats sometimes. So
we were up at camp last week walking on what Rubberstone did with our pier. Our wall. And I looked at it, and it was several years back. I'm like, this is perfect. Yeah, and then there was another part that we didn't do. Guess what's starting to crumble?
The concrete.
That area. But the Rubberstone stuff is premier. Tell people what Rubberstone, in case they haven't heard you before. What is Rubberstone?
Sure. Rubberstone is a bonded rubber granule overlay system. So it lets us, we mix each batch custom for every job. We're able to do some nice colored work that way and get you a nice attractive overlay. It pours down like a cement, which lets us float out any imperfections in the concrete. So whether you've got beautiful virgin new pour or you've got something that's several decades old and showing some salt and cracking and frost damage, we can take care of it with pretty minimal prep work, and we get the job in and done in under a week.
Which is nice, because I've seen some people, have their front yard torn up for days and days when they're bringing in bricks. And
right. I mean, you did your sidewalk. That was a quick job, right? When they did
they were done in half a day. It
was in half a day.
I ate lunch, and they got there early in the morning, and then I came up for lunch from the studio and was eating, and I came outside, and they were just packing up. Wow. Now, it was a small,
Well, it's a sidewalk going up.
It's a sidewalk, yeah. And so
did they do your pool too?
Yes, I don't have a pool.
Oh, that's right.
I got lots of neighbors with pools that could use the services. And once again, it's because of that the coolness too, right? It not only does it look good, but your little tootsies don't get hot.
Oh yeah, going around pools and patios is probably about half of our work, because it does create that nice high traction surface, so you're not slipping and sliding. It's a much softer on your feet because it is rubber, so it gives you some give.
Right.
And then that creates a nice little cooling layer. So you can hose that down and it'll evaporate all day long. But even just having that insulating layer on there is much better than raw concrete in the sun.
Talk about the sustainability and the environmental impact of this stuff.
Oh yeah, so it's we make a lot of our floors using recycled tire material. That's all the black material we use. So if you're getting a garage or a utility room or a driveway, it's going to be mostly recycled tire.
So why do they charge me to turn my tires in if they're going to recycle them and use them and give them to you? What's the deal with that?
Well, in order to make sure that we're getting that LEED certified green building material, we have a single source reprocessor.
Okay.
That is our dealer out of Saskatchewan, Canada. So we go from that single source to make sure that it's all cleaned up, and the material we're putting down is, like I said, green certified. There's no VOCs in the binding agents. That means we can do indoor and outdoor without creating environmental hazards for you.
So that's just black then, that part?
Sure. The black is a recycled tire, and then we've got a whole rainbow of new material. It's EPDM rubber, which is the kind that you're using in roofing applications because it's UV tough. So we're not going to have any fading or any degradation of the colored material. So that's the kind of stuff. A higher percentage of that is going to go down around a pool, anywhere that's getting a lot of sun.
You mentioned utility room, and I had not thought about it in a utility room, but oftentimes people will have leaks, hoses break, things happen in utility rooms where the washer and the dryer are. You can actually lay this stuff down in a house.
Oh, for sure. It acts just like a carpet. So, if we're doing it outdoors, it's going to be tough for vehicle traffic. It's going to be good for walking around on and accepting the weather. But we can do it indoors as well. Like I said, it's nice and environmentally friendly for your indoors, and then acts like a carpet there that's not going to be damaged by water.
How does it deal with mold? How does it deal with the mold element?
Yeah, sure. You just need to vacuum it up, basically. There's nothing in the overlay that's going to absorb that moisture and become a medium for growth. So you just keep it clean like you do with your carpet, and it's a lot easier to do that.
You're not going to get mushrooms growing out of it.
No, sir.
That's
not
excellent.
unless you let it sit for a while. That's on you.
And Tom knows the story. Years ago, I put a floor in my basement. It was a lot of work.
A parquet floor.
And I was so proud of myself.
You look like the Elks Club over there.
For a while, and then the boiler decided to do something, and it was a hot water tank, whatever it was.
Something. Yeah.
It got ruined.
Water everywhere.
And it tear it all up. And if I did not know rubber at the time, it would have been a non-incident. Is that fair?
You got it, yeah. You just need to shop back it out, and then you're back to where you were.
So getting an estimate now this time of year, because you guys are in and out in a day or so, you could still get probably an estimate and get a job done this year.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we still have openings. We're trying to get a lot more garages and pools lined up.
Excellent.
Bring it on.
Phone number? Oh yeah,
I think it's 463-5916.
That's right.
Is what I think it is. And Tom, area code
the big one,
315.
Yeah.
So get a quote 463-5916. RubberstoneNewYork.com and cover your ugly. And we're not talking about Tom.
Thank you very much, Jacob. You have a great rest of the day. Okay.
You too.
Kicking off hour number 2 of the local show, we're going to have a conversation with Dean Lyon. He's the founder of Animate Boot Camp, and then Neil Carr stops by, Vice President of Prime Heating and Air. Christina Kohler is part of Onondaga Grown. She's an egg processing manager at Hudson Egg Farms. I buy their eggs all the time. And finally, Jeremy Kidd is the financial advisor and registered principal at Pinnacle Investments LLC. Stick around. Hour number 2 of the local show starts really soon.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is hour number 2 of the local show. Get ready for engaging interviews with Dean Lyon, founder of Animate Boot Camp, and Neil Carr stops by, Vice President of Prime Heating and Air, along with Christina Kohler. She's part of Onondaga Grown and an egg processing manager at Hudson Egg Farms. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully she has some pasture-raised eggs for me.
You know a lot about eggs, don't you?
I'm taking them. I do love the eggs. Yeah. And then finally, Jeremy Kidd, financial advisor, registered principal at Pinnacle Investments LLC, all in this hour of the local show. And now it's our pleasure to bring on a local celebrity, national something or other, Dean Lyon, founder of Animate Bootcamp. How are you, Dean?
I'm doing great.
It's good to have you on. You're kind of a bigwig. You know, I look at your bio and I think to myself, boy, I just messed up terribly with my life.
And you're stuck here with me?
Stuck here with Steve.
I was waiting for that.
But Dean, are you from Syracuse originally or no?
No, not at all. I've managed to be here for 2 winters.
Oh, nice.
Where did your journey start?
Yeah, where did it start?
I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan.
Okay.
Couldn't stand the winter, so I ran away to California.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Yeah. And did you have a background in animation or film or something like that, cinema?
Yeah, sort of indirectly. I guess I've been a filmmaker since I was like 8 years old, doing stop motion animation.
So were you working in like Super 8 and cutting and splicing? Taking a clip, using like a bulb, like a little release, having a picture, moving the clay. Was that you?
Yep, that is correct. And I even did it with live action people as well as G.I. Joes and Barbies.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
So you decided you had to go to California because that's where everything was happening in that industry, right?
Well, no, not really.
Oh, okay.
I think I ran away to California just not to be in the winter anymore.
Oh, right.
But I happened to go to film school thinking that my parents would understand.
Oh, yeah.
How'd that work out?
That work? Yeah.
I think in the end they were quite proud of me. My father was a madman.
Madman?
Yeah, he was in car advertising in Detroit.
Oh, okay. That kind of a madman.
Motor
Yeah.
City. Okay. All right. So they were like, get a real job, work for a company, get a pension, get a union, and retire. Was that what was kind of put on you?
I think back then they thought you'd work for somebody for 30 years and get a gold watch.
Sure.
But that's not really the film business.
No.
I'd come home for Thanksgiving, and my father would be carving the turkey, and he'd say, well, son, how many car commercials have you worked on this year? And some years I'd have to say hundreds.
Yeah, right.
And, oh, you didn't want to be in the car advertising business, did you?
There you go.
So that was their
So
way
he
of
was
saying
sort of
that.
right in the long haul.
Yeah.
So you went out to California and you went to school for...
Yeah, I went to film school, and
film
I
school,
wanted to be a screenwriter.
Uh-huh.
And just like when you want to be a painter, you have to kind of understand how it all fits together and works.
Right.
And I decided I had to know how to make films.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, the first time I saw computerized editing, I became kind of a computer
So
person.
what year would that have been?
Oh, in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Yep.
Yep. So we're probably around the same age, and you found that to be, you know, I was enamored by that technology myself, you know, and I was going to SU. Now I tended to go on the audio side of things, but yeah. So you learned the ropes, but then things changed rapidly because in your business, I mean, here we are with Runway ML and AI generated, Well,
I think the thing that being a visual effects person,
Yes.
I think the thing is you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
You never stop learning. I'm in film school. There's a bunch of really talented men and women. They all wanted to be directors. And I'm like, I don't know if there's that many jobs for directors.
Right.
So I opted instead to be in a cool, dark room with beautiful monitors and do the post-production thing. Didn't have to haul sandbags to the desert. It was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. And then I realized that I'm actually the person that has the last creative decision on every project. The director approves the cut, walks out of the room. I take 4 frames off the edit, and it's done.
Right.
And fortunately, that's where visual effects grew and computer graphics.
So what is Live Animation Studios?
So Live Animation Studios is a studio here in Syracuse that my friends and I started actually in Miami, which is where I was before I came here. And out of Live Animation Studios, we've grown the Animate Bootcamp.
Tell us about that.
So my first idea for Syracuse is I wanted to bring the film industry here. So I'd been, investigating it because my friends had moved here from Miami. They wanted me to move here. We had a little thing called a pandemic. Kind of kept me from making the decision. And when I got here, I realized that you can't just come stomping in and say, I'm going to create the film industry. You want to do it in kind of stepping stones. Mm-hmm. And so one idea is we had a very successful animation boot camp over the pandemic, all virtual, in Africa. So we decided just to take that model and apply it here in Syracuse. So part of growing the film industry, animation is the first step.
Gotcha.
So the boot camp, is that something people can get involved in?
Is it just for kids, or is it for adults?
The first summer I was here, we did high school and college level. This summer we're aiming for high school kids, and we've opened it up to grads and anybody that's maybe university or starting out in the industry.
How many days a week? How long is it? Where is it?
Yeah, so we still haven't locked in the location because, like I said, we're used to doing it virtual, but this will be probably in person.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to keep it in downtown Syracuse, 3 days a week for 2 hours. The schools all told us don't do anything before 4, so we're aiming kind of at 4 to 6.
Did they sound like that when they said it?
4 to 6, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Gotcha.
And then we expect the students to be interested enough and passionate enough that they'll put in a couple extra hours after that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the description of extracurricular as opposed to curricular.
And how much will something like this cost?
Well, we learned first summer that we really can't charge for the students. So instead, what we're aiming for is corporate and organization sponsorships.
Okay.
And then by part of their sponsorship is we then have the Animate Bootcamp work on a public service announcement or two. And those public service announcements, the corporate sponsor can then brag about.
Sure.
They help the young people. They get to show it on TV. And then also we can repurpose that for their website, their social media, on and on.
So somebody can sign up and there's nothing out of their pocket.
Right.
Okay,
for
great.
The kids, yep.
That's excellent. My son is going to do it. My son wants to go to film school. He wants to go to New York University or Full Sail.
And he's got some talent.
He's got some chops. Yeah. He's a junior. He's going to be a senior next year, but this would be perfect for him.
Yeah, my concern in Florida was that we were graduating all these students. There's some really famous schools in Florida.
Yeah.
And I had to send them to New York or LA to get a job. So I'd like to see them graduate here and want to stay in Syracuse.
Absolutely. Wouldn't that be nice, huh?
Yep.
And what do you do for voiceover people, since that's my thing? Why haven't you called me? And
yeah, so we do voiceovers, obviously, and we're part of the studio complex that just opened up on the edge of Armory Square, where the original Red House was. We have Subcat Studios,
of course,
Five Peaks Animation, and Studio Central Post.
Yeah,
and it's interesting because we convinced CNY Arts that we really are a filmmaking organization. Oh my God, you use actors.
Yes.
Because we do voiceover acting.
Sure.
Yes.
We do mostly we've done sort of a scratch track just to get started and do animation. And then we're discovering now that we're out there selling these programs that it pays to have some known celebrities. For voices.
I guess I'm not celebrity enough for you.
No, you're stuck here on the local show with Tom and Steve.
For the Syracuse animation industry, you're perfect.
So Dean, what am I saying here, Tom?
I don't know, but I would hurry up.
Live Animation Studios. Is that the correct.com? I was trying to find the website. There it is. Live Animation Studios. They can find information there. Find out about the boot camp and anything else they want to know. Is that fair?
That's right. Great. It's a good place to get started.
Thank you so much, Dean, for doing what you're doing here in Syracuse and for being around. Okay, man.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Neil Carr is coming up next, Vice President of Prime Heating and Air, and we'll talk to him on the local show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
You're back again on The Local Show, and we do appreciate you hanging out with Steve and I on this weekend where we champion local businesses. One such local business, Steve, is Stan and Donna Shane. They are the Shane couple. Don't be ashamed.
With the last name like Shane, I've asked him, I said, have people gone up and gone, hey, Shane, thinking it was your first name? He goes, yeah, all the time.
All the time. Well, they own Syracuse Dog Fence.
Yes.
And we've had had both dogs on the fence for quite a while, and they've just done spectacularly. And you really notice it now during the summertime, because we can let the dogs out in the front and in the
Do you
rear.
even think about it? You let them out, you know.
We just let them. Now, I do think about it when people are walking their dogs by, because people get nervous, because their dogs are on a leash and they see our dogs, and of course the dogs will still bark.
Sure.
But I have to say, they're on a fence, and I wave, and they're like, oh, and they look skeptical. But our dogs will not go past the center point of the lawn now. No matter what's going on out there.
I know when we had the house in Liverpool, and that's how I met Stan and Donna.
Yeah.
15 years ago.
Sure.
Pretty near. And boy, Zoey never went anywhere.
Right.
And it was like, let her out. You're right. Summer day, winter day, no worries.
Nice.
And,
let them go.
And they just let them go. So now we've got the new dog, Storm, appropriately called. That was a hand-me-down from my military son, Nate, the black lab, who my wife has fallen in love with. And now she calls it her dog. Well, her dog got trained last week up at camp.
Yeah.
Because my sister's dog, they had a fence already there. So
just get
put
the collar on and go.
And you know what? He's figuring it out. And it'll just be more fun to not have to go, hang on, here's a dog, here's a leash, any of that. But if you've got a dog and you don't want it to run away, call Stan, 415-5555. Geez, that's the easiest number in the world. 415 and a whole bunch of fives, SyracuseDogFence.com.
There we go. Neil Carr is with us right now. He's the Vice President of Prime Heating and Air. How are you there?
I'm doing well,
Neil?
Fellas. Thank you.
Good to have you on, buddy.
Absolutely.
So it's been rather hot. I would imagine that the phone's ringing off the hook.
Did you
right?
double your prices during
It tripled, I think. Yeah.
You want AC? We've got it.
That's it. No, it was hot week this week. Yeah, for sure. But
do you get a lot of calls during this time? I mean, is it people in crisis or what?
Well, when it's 95 and high humidity, it's usually, hey, my system's not working. Yeah.
Or it's not working up to par or something.
Yes. When you get up into those temps, especially if you've got an older system, and a lot of people, they're used to having their thermostat set at, 65, 68, and if it's an older system, you're like, well, it only gets down to 72, 73. It's not, it's like, well, with the system, your age, it would tempt this high. That's doing well. Yeah. So people just have to adjust their expectations of, where they're setting their thermostats as, because we don't get 95 all the time. So it's not something we're used to. So especially with the high humidity like that, those systems are working hard to pull all that humidity out of the air. Sure. And get those temps down. So, maybe just bump it up to 70, and give your system a little break.
But people think, hey, I'll put it on colder and then it'll work better. It's a thermostat, for goodness sakes. So if you put it on 65, you put it on 70. If it's only going down to 73, it's never going to shut off either way.
It's never going to shut off either way, right? Exactly. Then that thing's just going to grind and grind.
I'll tell you
something.
We set it at 73, and we have a system that was put in by Prime Heating and Air, and it is fantastic. At 73, my house is like an ice box. Where it's not like an ice box is upstairs. Yeah. And I'm still having trouble with the upstairs, but I do, when I go to sleep, I leave the fan on so that it draws the air through constantly. So whether the compressor is on or not, it's still pushing the cool air through.
It's moving some air around, right, which is helpful. In those homes, obviously the second story is always the hottest area. Because you're most of the time it's the furthest away from the system. The air's got to travel that far. So usually those are the areas that need the most help. But there's certain things you can do. You can do booster fans in the ducts that go to that area. There's zoning systems. You can have multiple thermostats. I mean, there's you can really get into a lot of different things if you want to. It's more.
Did everything that was going to break kind of break already with people? Are they holding their own, or is your phone ringing off the hook?
It's both. Yeah, either they've already gone down, or they're getting there because they've been working so hard this week. Yeah, so it's a lot of service, and then people, when it gets this hot too, it's like, oh man, we better get our system checked out. We haven't in a while, so they'll call for maintenance.
Oh, they just get anxious about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
What other than AC and heating system? What are you putting in? What are you doing?
A lot of water heaters. Yeah, water heaters. Some tankless, regular, standard tank styles as well. Putting those in. Now's a good time too. Not necessarily right now in the middle of 95 degrees, but in the next month or so too, we got people calling us. They want us to do something with their boilers, while they're down this summer.
Don't you have somebody I know on that list?
I do. Sweet old lady.
Sweet old lady, Mom. So it's time. And that original boiler, 40-year-old boiler.
Yeah,
I think it is.
They don't make them like that anymore for sure.
No, so it was. You didn't say you need it today.
Yeah.
There was no pressure.
Yeah.
So she was waiting, and I think she mentioned it the other day.
We'll be following up with her probably within the next month or so. Get over there, get that done before she's got to worry about the heat for sure. But that especially the boiler furnaces. I mean, you whip a furnace out in and out anytime.
Right.
Boiler systems. If you're really thinking of changing it out, let's do it now while the system's down and cold, and not being used, and then we can make sure everything's
Does it take extra
good.
time to clear out Freddy Krueger down there in the boiler room?
Yeah, sometimes, depending on what they've got, and then there's a lot more involved too. You got all the piping, you've got all the valves, you got all, all the pumps, all that stuff. So there's a little more involved on the boiler. But so if you're thinking about doing that for before next season, now's a good time to call. We'll get you on the schedule to do some estimates.
What about the commercial properties? I know we talk a lot about the houses and things, and I know you guys do a fair amount of commercial stuff. Business owners or people that have space, are there things that they should look at differently than setting a thermostat?
Yeah, absolutely. For the commercial spaces, a lot of it is maintenance. That's the key. Making sure especially if you've got rooftops, that kind of thing, making sure those filters are getting changed, systems are getting checked, components are getting checked, all that stuff. So that's definitely something that we do well, and we're looking to grow in that space as well. So if you've got a commercial building or commercial space, or know someone that does, have them give us a call. I'd love to talk to them about maintenance programs, that kind of thing, and if you're considering replacing some equipment, whether it's a rooftop change out or whatever, we do all those. We just did 3 or 4 of them within the last couple of weeks. So.
I saw some pictures of ones over on Erie Boulevard. You did a big unit with a crane swinging it up. And
we did a big 10-ton unit there, and then we did 3 smaller units on another commercial building out in Fayetteville the week before. So it was a lot of those we've been doing a lot lately too. So definitely in the commercial world, give us a call. We're here for you. Yep.
When moisture is more of a problem inside the house, as things get colder and we move toward fall and winter, of course, do your units on the actual furnace do as good as having a room humidifier?
So you can get whole house humidifiers for a forced air system that connect right to the ductwork. So anytime the fan kicks on or the system kicks on, the humidifier kicks on and it draws the water out and puts the water back into your air.
Because that's really important.
Yeah,
we get very dry up here.
Yeah. So it's good for your skin, good for allergies, and it's good for the heating too. Just like now, when it's 95 degrees out, you're feeling that humidity in the house, and you're like, man, it is thick in here. It's warm. So you want that in the winter. You want that moisture in your area, so that you can have the thermostat maybe set a little lower, but it holding the heat because the humidity is there. So you don't have to have it up to 75. Maybe you keep it at 72, but it still feels warm.
So if someone asks some questions, they can give you a ring, 802-4287.
That's us.
802-4287. Ask for Neil because he'll answer the phone.
Yep.
PrimeHeatAndAir.com, and whatever they ask, you'll answer the questions.
Yeah, we're here for you. Absolutely.
All right. You have a great rest of the day there, Neil.
You too. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Christina Kohler. She's part of Onondaga Grown and an egg processing manager at Hudson Egg Farms LLC, right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
It's the fun of summer all wrapped up into one nice package right here on The Local Show with Tom and Steve.
I don't know what you're going to say, but neither do you.
That's
that's enjoyable.
Steve, you always have something to say, and people may not want to listen to it, but you do have things to say.
Yeah, I do. And you were talking to my wife?
Yeah, right. She realizes that after all these years.
She's like, what did you say? I go, honey, you don't understand me. I don't want to say get used to it because it comes across wrong, but I am sorry. I am what I am.
You are a complex individual. Tell us about Sean, who is Top Notch Roofing's owner, and he's up on these roofs. I think about them getting the song "Hot Down Summer in the City." Back of my neck getting burnt and pretty.
I was going down on the roof. It's peaceful as can be.
Well, there's that too. Yeah,
on the roof.
Songs.
And I don't know, replacing a roof on a hot summer day is all that peaceful.
No, but boy, you get a good tan.
Oh my goodness! But there are zillions of roofing companies.
Yes.
Get a quote from these guys. Sean is so. Hopefully, he's not listening. He's not like terribly exciting guy. Okay, let's be honest. But he is so steady Eddie.
Yeah.
He's not one of those, hey, we'll do it. He's not that guy. And he has such integrity. When you talk to him, he's like, we'll do that, and we don't have to do it. If we don't have to do it, we don't want to charge. But he's so fair. If you got a roofing question or quote, give Sean, Top Notch Roofing, a call, 427-0628. 427-0628. That would be Top Notch Roofing CNY. That's Central New York.
Yes.
.com.
Okay, thank you. Christina Kohler's back with us. She's part of Onondaga Grown, and she's an egg processing manager at Hudson Egg Farms. How are you, Christina?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's great to have you back. Since you were gone, I've done a lot of research on eggs.
Oh, good.
Yeah, well, I have eggs all the time. I do steak and eggs every day.
He became an eggologist.
Yeah.
So he'll tell you more.
But tell us your background, though, first, and how you got into Hudson Farms.
So I'm fourth generation on the family farm, and growing up, I said, I'm never going back to the farm. And I went off to college at SUNY ESF and had hopes and dreams of going to Washington, D.C., and then I ended up...
To do what? What would you do in Washington?
I love policy. I love, like...
You love the government?
You're
on the wrong show.
I like planning. I like making steps
You
for
wanted
the future.
to make things better. Yeah, you want to make things better.
That's something I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And then I ended up in a cubicle in downtown Syracuse, and I was like tethered to my phone, and I was like, this isn't it. So I went back to the family farm, and I've been back now 11 years. So.
That's fantastic.
Did they receive you back, or did they shame you first? Oh, okay.
No.
So on the farm, explain to me the layout of the farm. What do you have there? How big is it, and what your role is?
So over the years, we've kind of expanded. It started originally with about 80 acres, and now we're up to 500 acres out there on Route 5.
That just sounds enormous.
Yeah, so we're like the edge of the suburbs meets like rural Onondaga County.
Yeah,
and so we're like the gateway to the Finger Lakes over there.
Yeah.
So we have 250,000 chickens currently, and
wait, say that again.
Stop. Sorry,
250,000 chickens?
Yes.
Are they all? Do you have different names for each one?
Yeah. Do you name them?
Sandy, Susie, Claire, Bonnie. No, I'm kidding.
That's a lot. Are they all the same type of chicken, or do you have different varieties?
They're pretty much all the same type of chickens. Yeah. But they lay different size eggs. So we do anything from a peewee all the way up to a super jumbo.
How do you get it to lay? Do you just say, hey, look, you guys are in the small category?
You encourage them.
How do you encourage them to do bigger ones?
So it's all about age. So when they first start laying, they're like really small. They're like peewees. We just had that phase that we just went through with 70,000 chickens laying eggs.
Gosh. And how long does that last?
Just a couple weeks, about 2.5 weeks before they get into like mediums. And then, so we're still in the medium phase right there, but they'll be going to larges and extra large.
So how long does a chicken last?
About 100 weeks.
100 weeks.
That would be 2 years, Tom. But you know what? I wanted Tom to do the math.
So,
Okay,
and then you can molt them. You can keep them longer. Every farm does something different. So.
I bet.
Can you turn them into eating chickens?
No,
or no?
They're not really meat chickens.
Okay, they're not. So these are specifically for laying eggs. Hudson Eggs, I live right by Sparrow's Market, and people who listen to the show know that I frequent that often. So I get your eggs all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that what I learned since the last time you were here was there's a difference between cage-free and there's a difference between pasteurized or pasture-raised. And
pasteurized is a thing too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
so that you could.
So explain the differences for people. I know what it is, but I want to hear it from your mouth so that people understand what they're buying when they go into the store.
Yeah, those labels can be confusing.
Yeah.
And so I understand that from a consumer standpoint. So on our farm, we're conventional. So they're housed in houses. They are in cages where they have access to water, feed. They lay the eggs roll down to a belt that goes to an elevator that comes into our egg processing room.
Right.
And then cage-free, they're still indoors, and they roost, they nest, they move around, but they're still inside. And that might be like partitioned off, depending on just, so they don't smother themselves in a corner in a thunderstorm. But and then pasture raised, they're outside on grass. They have access to the outdoors. They can come inside. That's a little tough here in Central New York with our winters. But
why would anybody do it different ways? What's the advantage of one way over the other?
So, like years ago, the land grant institution Cornell, did research, and so my grandfather, we did cage free, and they were running around and they were scratching in the dirt and whatnot, and then they went to the cages, and now there's some changes and they're going back, but everything's cyclical in ag, so I don't know if conventional will ever go away, but we might come back around in 30 years.
Well, what are you feeding them? Because it's also important when you're eating an egg for health conscious people. What has been fed to the chicken to lay the egg? So do you have organic or?
No, we're not organic, but we do use local corn, local soybean. We mix all our own feed on site. We have a mill. My cousin Chris handles all of that. So we're using local products, local ingredients. And they're mixing it all depending on the age. The nutrition is what they need. So just like you would feed a small child something different than you would feed like an adolescent or an adult. They're every stage of the chicken, she gets fed something different.
I see. So pasture raised is nice because they're also eating their normal diet that a chicken would eat. So they're digging up grubs and worms and bugs.
But on the flip side, when you crack that egg open when you purchase a pasture, it might look a little different than what you're used to. So
a little darker.
Or you might find like a worm or something like that, that people are like, oh.
Are you people eating less eggs, more eggs?
More eggs.
Yeah.
More eggs. And you smile. Great. That's a good thing for you guys, right?
It's a great source of protein. There's so many nutrients in it. Like when I was just referring to like childhood development, the choline.
Choline,
for your brain, cognitive as an adult.
Everything.
Yeah.
Vitamin A, B, C, all the vitamins. It's like taking a multivitamin when you're eating those yolks. And don't just stick with the whites. That's a mistake that I made a long time ago. And my doctor said, you're not getting in the whites. It can release histamines in the body too, and some people can be allergic to the whites more so than the yolks.
So real quick, where do your eggs go?
Locally, we private label for Burn Dairy. We do a lot of Nichols, Green Hills. Unfortunately, no James is closed, so people are like, where can I get those jumbo eggs? We really miss those jumbo eggs. Tops in Camillus and Tops in Elbridge, or Ontario Orchards if you're looking for a drive up to Lake Ontario. For
and
some
Sparrows, right?
Yeah, Sparrows. But then we go all the way to Rochester, Buffalo, Rhode Island, Connecticut.
So Onondaga grown eggs at the Hudson Egg Farm right here in town, right?
Yeah,
pick them up.
Grown.
Eat them every day.
Yeah,
that's great. And because of health reasons and stuff, you're not going to be open on Farm Fest.
No, we're not open for on Farm Fest, but there's a lot of other great locations. So get out on September 21st.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Christina, for what you do and your family does.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Jeremy Kidd. He's a financial advisor, registered principal at Pinnacle Investments, right here on the local show on 570 WSYR. Stick around.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it and back at it. Welcome to The Local Show. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. And you can see us on YouTube, get a good shot of Steve in his dark tan and Speedo and looking really good over there. We had lunch the other day when it was blazing hot, about midweek, and I went out on the new patio that was built for us. And, I thought, I'm going to get a little sun on my face because all my, health influencers tell me I got to get sun in my eyes and in my retinas and everything like that. So I went out and I lasted about 3.5 minutes. And you melted. I said, I'm not used to this. I ain't as young as I once was. When I was a young man, I would stay out there in bronze. But
we were kids. What is sunscreen? What is sun?
Oh, I know.
There's none of those things.
My mother would say, come on over here. And she'd put canola oil all over me.
Yeah. And say, she'd kick you outside and say, when it gets dark or you get hungry, you can come back in.
That's right. Have some fun, you know. All right. Well, here's a guy who looks like a whole bunch of fun right here. It's Jeremy Kidd. He's a financial advisor and partner at Pinnacle Investments. How are you there, Jeremy?
Doing great. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have you. Are you from Syracuse originally?
From Syracuse originally. Grew up in Fayetteville. Ended up going to college at Ithaca College my freshman year.
Very nice.
Didn't love it.
No.
Transferred to University of Buffalo after talking to my dad, talking about my student loan for my first year.
Yeah, right.
Thinking about it all, then went to Buffalo.
Okay. And what did you major in?
Business.
Okay, so you're a business
administration.
Well, you know, the thing about Ithaca is they got that bridge that's scary over the gorge there.
Well, there's Cornell and Ithaca. They both have those going.
They do. A lot of gorgeous.
A lot of gorgeous. Yeah, it's very gorgeous. So you took business, and why Pinnacle Investments? Why'd you get involved?
Pinnacle's a family business.
Okay.
I was actually looking at possibly getting into the car business as well. It's another family business of ours.
Oh, no kidding.
And my grandfather founded Romano Auto Dealerships with his brother at the time.
Oh, wow.
And then Pinnacle Investments, my dad founded that back in 1996. I sat down with him. We did some pros and cons, talked about the different businesses, the different lifestyle that it would have, and then decided to work with him and try to help build up and grow Pinnacle as best I could.
So what is Pinnacle all about? Explain what you guys do for the general consumer.
Sure. So we offer investment services, wealth management, financial planning. That was our main business that was founded in 1996. As time went on, we also started offering payroll and benefits for small business owners. We're now involved in marketing a little bit. We also have technology services, so managed service provider, and we partner with CrowdStrike on that.
What is it?
It's a managed service provider, and we use CrowdStrike.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that.
CrowdStrike? What is it?
CrowdStrike? Yeah, so CrowdStrike is, they're a cybersecurity company.
Oh, I got
And they provide cybersecurity for any type of business out there, whether you're dealing with medical practices, whether you're dealing with law firms. Practices, typically that have a lot of sensitive information.
Yeah.
So we're offering that to a lot of our small businesses as well.
It's not us, Tom.
No.
Yeah, a little less on the marketing side, but you never know. You can always get hacked.
So, so you deal with people's individual investments?
I do. I deal with individuals. I deal with corporations, large group plans as well.
So you deal with the person that will call you and go, the market went down 500 points. We're going to die. Are you the guy that takes those calls?
We're psychiatrists. Yeah. We walk them off the ledge.
Did they call the same way when the market goes up 500 points?
So no, not at all. Of course not. Yeah. It's only when the market's down. I can pretty much tell you who's going to be calling me on those days when the market's down.
You know your clients, right?
I kind of know your clients. You get to know people really well. You know, they're more like friends towards the end of it. They're really not clients after a couple of years of working with them.
Sure.
So I really do know who's going to give me a call on a bad day, who's going to give me a call on a good day. So it's kind of, you get to know your pool at that point.
Well, you're a relatively young man comparatively to me, in my 60-year-old anyway. Does it scare you sometimes with all this news, and bitcoins and, digital currency and banks crashing and all this? Yeah. Do you get nervous and say, why am I in this business?
I wouldn't say it scares me. It's certainly stressful at times. Yeah. I think it changes your outlook, and it's very humbling to be in the business now for 9 years, where I've seen some ups and downs. I've seen some new trends come in. We were told in my first 3 years that online advisors are going to take you guys out.
Right.
You're not going to have a career anymore after the next 3 to 4 years here. I was told about Bitcoin and how that's going to take us out. Everyone's going to invest in Bitcoin only. Sure. There's always new trends. There's always new things that pop up, but we stick with the basics.
Yeah, wasn't Beanie Babies going to be a currency to trade back
I didn't even know. Never
remember everybody was like, and now
the little stuffed animal.
You have those. Boy, you've got it.
Well, for a couple of years, for me, that was a currency trade.
Yeah. And how about the things, the NTFs or the NFTs?
NFTs. Yeah, those went away pretty quick.
Yeah, that was going to be revolutionary.
Turns out owning a photo online is not that big of a deal.
Right. Yeah. And I always said that. Well, how is this even real?
What about precious metals? Are they a thing?
They're still a thing. Absolutely. Yeah, commodities
Should they
are trading.
be? I mean, is that a responsible thing, or is that just a goofy thing, or is it somewhere in the middle?
It's somewhere in the middle. Of course, it helps when inflation's going up, when prices are going up. You want to own those precious metals. It can help you. It's a little bit of a hedge.
Yeah.
I will say, though, most of our clients, they stick with stocks. They stick with the big blue chips. They stick with the best names out there. Mm-hmm. We do sell a lot of municipal bonds as well. So New York State, obviously, we have relatively high taxes in New York.
Yes.
A lot of our high net worth individuals, they like muni bonds. We can offer them individual bonds, funds.
Mm-hmm. So muni bonds, aren't they like a fixed rate that's decent, but there's some tax advantages, maybe?
Yeah, so it's a fixed rate. It's usually a relatively decent rate, but it's tax-free for New York State and tax-free federally. So if you have high income, it's a really good time to start buying some municipal bonds. As rates start going back down, chances are those rates on those bonds are going to be lower as well. So the bonds that you own should appreciate a little bit. So when interest rates go down, it's an inverse relationship. So those prices should jump up a little bit.
What kind of people should come to see you? For instance, I am one notch above a pauper, and I'm not sure that, could you do anything for me?
Yeah, absolutely. We work with everybody. So one of our large accounts is the Onondaga County. So Onondaga County employees are one of our largest group plans that we work with.
Okay.
So we work with individuals who come to us and it's their first day on the job. They're just starting to invest. We have about 60 advisors, so we have an advisor for pretty much anybody across the board.
Wow, that's a lot.
And on my team, we have 5. So on my team, I can work with individuals that come in with $50 a week or $50 a month and they want to start. We have an option for them. And then we do have a deeper dive for some individuals who have a lot more net worth, who own businesses. So of course we do have different offerings.
Yeah.
But we're across the board. We're happy to work with everybody.
And would you advise somebody, like even if they weren't a client yet, but they come to you and just say, hey, what can you do with my income?
Like a second opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Can you give me an opinion on how I can save some money for retirement or what have you?
Sure. We do that all the time. We offer seminars. We offer ways for people to come in and just get an idea of what we have going on, get an idea of what their financial picture looks like. Not everybody's going to want to work with an advisor. A lot of people want to do it on their own.
Yeah.
But again, if they want to get a checkup, there's always an option for that.
So, Tom, I have the answer to your problem.
I do have a problem.
Yeah, you just said, what do I do? I stop spending money.
Yeah, right. Don't spend anything.
You'll save more if you spend less. Yeah. That's just math.
It doesn't matter how much you make, it's how much you save at the end of the day.
Yeah, where have I heard that? Everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere pretty much.
That's
I stole that
cool.
one.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have all these advisors. Do you, and you work with big companies, but an individual can roll in, get some advice, and maybe you can help them. Do they have to have a goal, or do you give them a goal?
So everyone's different.
Yeah.
Most people will come in with some type of goal, whether they want to retire by 55, 60, 65.
Counts us out, Tom.
Yeah, right.
That's the basics. 70 years old, whatever it might be.
There you go. Keep pushing it. Yeah.
And some people never want to retire.
Right.
They just want to work their whole lives. They love what they're doing, but they want to have money to put towards a second home. They want to have money to put towards a boat, whatever it might be.
Yeah. So you deal with all of that.
We deal with everything.
Yeah. Like you say, you got to be a little bit of a psychologist and a numbers person.
And we have people in the background that are so much smarter than me that they handle all this stuff. So I'm the person facing you individually, but in the background we have certified financial planners. We have chartered financial analysts that took all those tests and qualifications that I would never be able to take.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. Jeremy Kidd right there. He's a partner and financial advisor over there at Pinnacle Investments. Thank you so much for being on the show with us.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
We're going to wrap up the show. Steve, maybe you got a boat or something. You want to go out there and have some fun?
I think I'm going to find the water this weekend.
All right. That's wonderful. On behalf of the local show and Zoey Advertising, Tom and Steve, God bless you and your families. Make some time to relax and exercise today and every day. Do it with a friend or family member. It'll keep your body and mind healthy. The local show is heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1 and then again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend. Until next week, get down to business and keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube at Zoey Advertising.